It was no accident that you clicked on this video. In fact, this very moment when you saw the title, felt the urge to click and found yourself here right now, is a manifestation of synchronicity in action. But you do not yet realize that this instant, this exact merging of your consciousness with these words, was orchestrated by forces operating beyond the boundaries of space and time. Most people believe that synchronicity is just a fancy word for coincidence. They think it is about noticing meaningful patterns or lucky breaks. However, what I am about to reveal to you will shatter everything you think you know about how reality functions. Because synchronicity is not just something that happens to you. It is the fundamental language through which the universe communicates with conscious beings. Have you ever noticed that the more awakened you become, the more synchronicities seem to multiply in your life? Have you wondered why some people live in a constant flow of magical coincidences, while others seem to experience nothing but random circumstances? Have you felt that the universe is trying to tell you something through signs and symbols, but you could not decipher the message? Here is what quantum physicists are discovering, and it will change your understanding of your role in reality. Synchronicity is not a passive experience where meaningful coincidences just happen to you. It is an active field of consciousness in which you become a co-creator with the quantum intelligence governing all that exists. Experiments by Dr. Dean Radin at the Institute of Noetic Sciences have proven that consciousness does not just observe reality. It literally influences the probability of events occurring. When your awareness reaches a certain level of coherence, when your heart and mind align with your highest truth, you begin to attract experiences that are perfectly synchronized with the evolution of your soul. But here is what is astonishing. The synchronicities you are experiencing today were set in motion by decisions made by your higher self long before your birth. The people you meet, the opportunities that appear, the challenges you face, all of it is part of an intelligent design guiding you toward the fullest expression of who you came here to be. Carl Jung, who coined the term synchronicity, did something extraordinary during his deepest psychological research. He discovered that meaningful coincidences increase exponentially when people stop trying to control outcomes and begin aligning with what he called the collective unconscious, a field of infinite wisdom connecting all consciousness. What if I told you that by the end of this video, you will never look at coincidences the same way again? What if you could learn to read synchronicity like a language, decode its messages like an experienced translator, and even consciously participate in creating the very coincidences that guide your life toward its highest potential? This is not just about noticing signs. It is about becoming so aligned with the quantum field that you turn into a living magnet for miracles, a walking generator of synchronicity, a conscious participant in the divine orchestration of existence itself. Are you ready to learn why this is truly the only video you will ever need about synchronicity? Because what follows will unveil mysteries that mystics have guarded for millennia, and that cutting-edge science is only beginning to understand. 3 days ago, I was walking through a store, not looking for anything specific, just wandering. When I turned a corner, a book literally fell off the shelf and landed at my feet. Not near my feet, but right at my feet. It opened to a page about paradigm shifts. Here is what made it synchronicitous. For several weeks, I had been pondering how to explain the deeper levels of synchronicity to people ready for advanced understanding. I had been asking the universe for guidance on how to bridge ancient wisdom with modern science in a way that would lead to true transformation. The book falling open to that exact page was not just a coincidence. It was the universe responding to my request for direction. But more than that, it was confirmation that this video you are watching now was meant to exist, was meant to find you, was meant to activate something in your consciousness that was waiting to awaken. That is how synchronicity works. When you understand its deeper principles, it is not random. It is responsive. It is intelligent. And if you stay with me, if you open your mind to possibilities beyond what you think is possible, you are about to learn how to live in this flow of divine responsiveness every day. To truly understand synchronicity, we must first grasp what quantum physicists call the observer effect. In quantum mechanics, The act of observation literally determines which reality will manifest from the field of infinite possibilities. Your consciousness does not just witness events, it participates in their creation. Synchronicity operates on the same principle, but at a far more sophisticated level. When your consciousness reaches a state that Dr. Amit Goswami calls quantum coherence, you begin to influence not only which reality you observe, but which possibilities the universe presents to you for observation. That is why synchronicity feels so magical, so impossible, so beyond the laws of ordinary causality, because it operates outside ordinary cause and effect. It works through what physicists call non-local correlation, a quantum principle that allows particles to instantly affect each other across vast distances without any physical connection. Your consciousness exists in this same non-local field. When you align with your highest truth, when you vibrate at the frequency of your authentic self, you create what quantum field theorists call resonant attraction. You literally tune into the same frequency as the experiences, people, and opportunities that match your energetic signature. But here is the profound meaning. Synchronicity is not just about attracting what you want. It is guidance toward what your soul needs for its evolution, even when your conscious mind cannot see the bigger picture. It is the universe's way of steering you along the most efficient path to your highest potential. Ancient Hindu texts describe this as dharma, the natural order that leads all beings to their perfect unfolding. They understood that when you align with dharma, when you surrender your personal will to cosmic will, life begins to organize itself in ways that seem miraculous, but are actually the natural result of living in harmony with universal intelligence. Taoism speaks of Wu Wei, effortless action that flows in perfect harmony with the natural order. When you master the art of synchronicity, you begin to live in Wu Wei. You stop forcing outcomes and start flowing with the intelligent currents of existence. This is what distinguishes true synchronicity from mere coincidence. Coincidence is random. Synchronicity is responsive. Coincidence has no deeper meaning. Synchronicity always carries a message, guidance, a gift that serves your highest evolution. But accessing this level of divine guidance requires something most people find terrifying. It requires letting go of the illusion that you are in control of everything. It requires trusting that there is an intelligence far greater than your thinking mind, that knows exactly what you need and when you need it. And this is where most people get stuck. They want the magic of synchronicity, but they are unwilling to release the ego's need to manage and control every outcome. They want divine guidance, but only if it fits what their limited perspective thinks is best. What I am about to show you next will precisely reveal why this resistance blocks synchronicity and how to eliminate it completely. Because there is a specific state of consciousness that acts as a synchronicity amplifier, drawing meaningful coincidences at an astonishing rate. Feel how this shift is happening in your awareness right now. As these concepts take root in your mind, as your understanding of reality begins to expand, notice how your energy field is recalibrating. You are not the same person who started watching this video. A fundamental shift has occurred in how you perceive the interplay between consciousness and reality. This shift you are experiencing, this opening, this expansion, this recognition of deeper truths, this is exactly what needs to happen for synchronicity to become an active force in your life. Your consciousness is literally tuning to higher frequencies where meaningful coincidences are not just possible, but inevitable. But there is something I need to tell you before we dive deeper. Something that will change not only your understanding of synchronicity, but how you experience your entire life. There is a level of synchronicitous living that goes beyond what most people ever imagined possible. A state of consciousness where every moment becomes a conversation with the universe, where every encounter carries profound meaning, where every experience is perfectly orchestrated for your highest growth. Mystics called this living in the Tao. Quantum physicists call it coherent superposition. I call it synchronicity mastery. And once you understand what I am about to reveal, once you see the hidden mechanisms governing the interaction of consciousness and reality, You will never again feel lost or confused about your path. Because what I discovered, what changed everything in how I navigate life, is that at the deepest levels of synchronicity lies a secret, a principle that, when activated, transforms you from someone who occasionally notices meaningful coincidences into someone who lives in constant communion with universal intelligence. But first, you must understand how this transformation happened in my own life. Because the story I am about to share contains the key that unlocks everything. 5 years ago, I was living what most people would consider a successful life. But inside, I felt completely disconnected from any sense of meaning or purpose. I had achieved all the goals I thought I wanted, but something vital was missing. I felt like I was living someone else's life, following someone else's script. Then something happened that changed everything. I was driving to a business meeting I absolutely did not want to attend, stuck in traffic, feeling this crushing sense of emptiness. In that moment of complete despair, I made a decision that seemed insane at the time. I turned around. I canceled the meeting. Instead, I drove to the ocean. Sitting on the beach, feeling my life falling apart, I turned to the universe with a simple but profound request. Show me what I am really here for. I will follow any guidance you give me, even if it makes no logical sense. Literally minutes later, a woman approached me. She seemed to appear out of nowhere. She looked at me with incredibly kind eyes and said, "I do not usually do this, but I feel I must tell you something. You are not meant to live the life you are living. Your soul has a much greater purpose, and it is time to start listening to it." Before I could respond, she handed me a slip of paper with a phone number. "Call this number tomorrow at exactly 3:33 in the evening," she said. "Trust me." And then she walked away, disappearing into the crowd as if she had never been there. I thought I was going crazy, but something deep inside me knew this was real. Knew this was the universe answering my request for guidance. The next day at 3:33 in the evening, I called the number. It was a spiritual teacher who was looking for someone with my exact experience to help bring ancient wisdom into a modern context. That phone call led to a complete life transformation, to finding my true purpose, to the work I am doing with you right now. But here is what I discovered that changed everything in my understanding of synchronicity. That woman on the beach was not a random encounter. The timing was not coincidence. The message was not accidental. When I traced the chain of events that led to that moment, I realized the universe had been orchestrating this meeting for months, maybe years. Every disappointment that led to my despair, every choice that brought me to that beach, every moment of doubt that led me to that point of surrender, all of it was part of an intelligent design guiding me to exactly what my soul needed for its next level of evolution. That is when I understood the deepest truth about synchronicity. It is not just about noticing meaningful coincidences. It is about recognizing that your entire life is one vast, interconnected web of synchronicity leading you to your highest potential. Here is what the experts do not want you to know about synchronicity. Here is what they keep secret in advanced courses, inner circles, mystery schools. Synchronicity is not just something that happens when you are spiritually attuned. It is something that is constantly happening to everyone, all the time. The difference is that most people are conditioned to ignore it, dismiss it, or explain it away. Dr. Bernard Beitman, a psychiatrist at the University of Virginia, has been studying synchronicity for over 2 decades. His findings are revolutionary. He discovered that what we call coincidences occur at a rate that is statistically impossible, according to probability theory. The mathematical odds of the meaningful coincidences people experience daily are so astronomical that their occurrence can only be explained by the existence of an organizing intelligence. But here's the shocking part. The pharmaceutical industry, the education system, the entire structure of materialistic science are invested in keeping you disconnected from this intelligence. Because when you realize you are in constant communication with a benevolent universe, when you understand that synchronicity is proof of your connection to infinite wisdom, you stop being a consumer of external solutions and start accessing inner guidance. The ancient mystery schools understood this. They knew synchronicity was the doorway to what they called direct revelation, receiving guidance directly from universal intelligence without any intermediary. That is why these teachings were kept secret. What they discovered, what modern quantum research is now confirming, is that consciousness exists simultaneously in multiple dimensions. Your everyday awareness operates in what physicists call classical reality, the world of apparent separation and linear time. But your higher consciousness exists in quantum reality, a dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously, and where past, present, and future are unified. Synchronicity is what happens when these two levels of consciousness communicate with each other. Your higher self, operating from quantum reality, orchestrates circumstances in classical reality to guide your everyday awareness toward experiences that serve your highest evolution. Research by Dr. Rupert Sheldrake on morphic resonance shows that when you are aligned with universal intelligence, you literally tap into what he calls morphic fields, invisible patterns of information that exist outside space and time. These fields contain the wisdom of every soul that has ever walked a similar path. That is why synchronicity often comes through other people, through overheard conversations, through seemingly random encounters. The universe uses the entire field of consciousness as a communication network, delivering exactly the message you need through whatever channel is most accessible and receptive. Now that you understand the hidden mechanisms of synchronicity, let me show you exactly how to recognize when the universe is speaking to you through the events of your daily life. Because once you learn this quantum language, once you develop synchronicity literacy, you will never again feel lost or confused about your path. The first category of synchronicitous signs is numerical guidance. The universe speaks through numerical sequences because numbers are the fundamental language of quantum reality. When you keep seeing 1111, you are being called to pay attention to your thoughts in that moment. The universe is amplifying your manifestation power. 222 appears when you are being guided to trust the process, to have faith that everything is unfolding perfectly. 444 appears when you are surrounded by angelic guidance and protection. But the deeper truth is that these numbers are not just random signs. They are calibrated to your specific consciousness frequency. The universe literally tracks your awareness level and sends you guidance that matches your current capacity to receive and integrate higher wisdom. Animal synchronicities carry even more specific messages. When a hawk repeatedly appears in your life, the universe is telling you to view situations from a higher perspective. When butterflies cross your path during times of change, you are being confirmed that your transformation is divinely supported. When owls appear, especially during difficult decisions, you are being called to access inner wisdom rather than seeking answers outside yourself. Pay attention to technological synchronicities. Your phone battery dies exactly when you need to unplug and be present. Wi-Fi drops when you need to step away from digital distractions and connect with nature. Your car breaks down on the exact day that forces you to slow down and reassess your direction. These are not inconveniences. These are interventions from your higher self. Musical synchronicities are especially powerful because sound carries vibrational frequencies that can instantly shift your consciousness. When a song comes on the radio with lyrics that speak directly to your current situation, when you overhear a conversation in a coffee shop that answers a question you have been pondering, when words seem to follow you everywhere with the same message, the universe is using the collective consciousness field to deliver personalized guidance. But the most powerful synchronicities come through soul encounters. These are meetings with people who seem to appear exactly when you need them most, who say exactly what you need to hear, who offer exactly what you need to receive. Sometimes these encounters last only moments. A stranger who smiles at you when you feel invisible. A cashier who says something that shifts your entire perspective. A child who reminds you of pure joy when you have forgotten how to play. The key to recognizing these signs is developing what mystics called second sight, the ability to see the spiritual meaning behind physical events. It is not about becoming superstitious or looking for meaning in everything. It is about developing discernment to recognize when something carries a message and when it is just a random occurrence. Here is the test. Does the event, encounter, or experience trigger a sense of recognition in your soul? Does it feel like a piece of a larger puzzle clicking into place? Does it provide guidance, confirmation, or redirection that serves your highest good? If yes, you are experiencing genuine synchronicity. But I still have not told you the most important thing. I still have not revealed the secret that transforms you from someone who occasionally notices synchronicities into someone who lives in constant synchronicitous flow. There is a level of mastery that goes beyond recognizing signs. It is about becoming so aligned with universal intelligence that you actually participate in creating the synchronicities themselves. What I'm about to share with you is so powerful, so transformative, that it will fundamentally change your relationship with reality itself. Because once you understand this principle, once you activate this ability within your consciousness, you will realize that you are not just a passive recipient of divine guidance. You are an active co-creator with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all that exists. This secret is hidden in the deepest teachings of every mystical tradition. It is encoded in the most advanced theories of quantum consciousness, and it is demonstrated in the lives of every master who has ever walked this earth. But first, you must understand what is actually happening in your brain, your heart, and your energy field when you reach this level of synchronicitous mastery. Because the benefits go far beyond just more meaningful coincidences in your life. When you master the art of synchronicitous living, when you learn to flow with universal intelligence rather than against it, your entire physiology shifts into what researchers at the HeartMath Institute call cardiac coherence. Your heart rhythm patterns become harmonized, your brain waves synchronize across all regions, and your nervous system enters a state of optimal functioning that most people never experience. This coherent state does not just make you feel better, it makes you more intelligent, more creative, more intuitive, and more magnetically attractive to experiences that serve your highest good. You literally become a walking beacon for synchronicity because your entire being is vibrating in harmony with the quantum field. Your decision-making abilities are completely transformed. Instead of agonizing over choices, weighing every pro and con, or trying to predict outcomes, you develop what the Taoists called effortless knowing. The right choice becomes obvious because it resonates with your entire being. Wrong choices feel impossible because they create immediate dissonance in your energy field. Remember my story about the woman on the beach who changed the entire trajectory of my life. That level of life-altering synchronicity becomes normal when you operate from coherent consciousness. People appear exactly when you need them. Opportunities manifest exactly when you are ready. Resources show up the moment they are required. Your relationship with time itself is transformed. You stop feeling rushed, pressured, or behind schedule because you are flowing with what quantum physicists call the eternal now, the timeless dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously. You begin to trust that everything happens in perfect timing because you are aligned with the intelligence that orchestrates that timing. But perhaps most importantly, you develop what I call quantum faith, an unshakable trust in the benevolence of existence. You know, not just intellectually, but in every cell of your being, that the universe is always working for your highest good, even when circumstances seem difficult or confusing. This faith transforms fear into excitement, uncertainty into adventure, challenges into opportunities for growth. You begin to see every experience as perfectly designed to help you evolve into more of who you truly are. Your creative abilities expand exponentially because you are no longer creating from limitation and fear. You are channeling directly from the field of infinite possibilities. Ideas flow through you as if they come from somewhere beyond your personal mind. Just as in my journey from that desperate night to finding my true purpose, your entire life path begins to feel guided, supported, and divinely orchestrated. But this is not passive dependence on external forces. This is active partnership with the creative intelligence of the universe itself. Here it is, the ultimate secret of synchronicity mastery that changes everything. The principle that transforms you from an observer of meaningful coincidences into a conscious participant in their creation. Synchronicity is not something that happens to you. It is something that happens through you, when your consciousness reaches a state of complete alignment with your authentic truth. When your heart, mind, and soul are united in intention, you do not just attract synchronicities. You become a synchronicity generator for everyone around you. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "I and the Father are one." This is what the Buddha discovered under the Bodhi tree. This is what quantum consciousness researchers call universal mind. The recognition that your individual consciousness is not separate from cosmic consciousness, but is cosmic consciousness expressing itself through the unique lens of your being. When you reach this level of awareness, when you fully embody this truth, something extraordinary happens. You begin to serve as a catalyst for synchronicity in other people's lives. Your very presence begins to activate meaningful coincidences for everyone you encounter. You become what mystics called a bearer of divine order. Research by Dr. David Hawkins on consciousness calibration shows that when a person reaches certain levels of awareness, their energy field begins to exert what he calls a nonlinear effect on everyone around them. One person functioning at this level of consciousness can positively influence the lives of hundreds of thousands of people simply through their coherent presence in the world. That is why enlightened masters throughout history seem to live in a constant field of miracles. It was not that they were specially chosen or divinely favored. It was that they had dissolved the illusion of separation between their individual will and universal will so completely that they became transparent channels for infinite intelligence. But here is the deepest part. This is not a special ability reserved for saints and sages. This is the natural state of consciousness when all resistance to life has been released, when all identification with limitation has been dissolved, when you live as the pure expression of your authentic self. The secret is this: stop trying to get synchronicities and start being synchronicity. Stop trying to receive guidance and start being guidance. Stop trying to find your purpose and start being purpose itself. When you live from this level of alignment, when your very existence becomes synchronicity in the life of everyone you touch, you realize that you were never separate from the universe that seemed to be guiding you. You always were the universe expressing itself through human consciousness, temporarily forgetting its true nature to experience the joy of remembering. This is the ultimate synchronicity, the recognition that the seeker and the sought, the observer and the observed, individual consciousness and cosmic consciousness were never separate to begin with. Look again at the synchronicity that brought you to this video. Was it really an accident that you found it? Was it truly random chance that these words resonate so deeply with something inside you? What if I told you that your higher self orchestrated this encounter long before you knew you were seeking answers about synchronicity? What if this video was planted in your timeline months or even years ago, waiting for the perfect moment when your consciousness would be ready to receive these deeper truths? Think about that. Out of billions of videos on the internet, out of the infinite number of possibilities for how you could spend this time, out of the countless other directions your attention could have gone, somehow, in some way, you ended up here, receiving exactly the information your soul was ready to integrate. This is not coincidence. This is synchronicity at its deepest level. This is proof that you are not just a random individual navigating an indifferent universe. You are a conscious being, guided by infinite intelligence toward experiences that serve your highest evolution. But here's the mystery I want to leave you with. If your higher self could orchestrate this moment, this encounter, this activation of your understanding of synchronicity, what else has it orchestrated that you have not yet recognized? What other synchronicities are currently unfolding in your life that you are missing because you are looking in the wrong places or in the wrong ways? What if the challenges you are facing right now are actually synchronicities in disguise? What if the delays, obstacles, apparent failures are actually perfect timing from the perspective of your soul's evolution? What if everything happening in your life right now is exactly what needs to happen for you to become who you are meant to be? The real question is not whether synchronicity is real. The real question is, how synchronicitous are you willing to allow your life to become? How deeply are you willing to trust divine orchestration? How fully are you willing to surrender to an intelligence that knows your path better than your thinking mind ever could? The answers to these questions will determine not just what you experience, but who you become. Because in the end, synchronicity is not just about receiving guidance from the universe. It is the recognition that you are the universe expressing itself through human consciousness, guiding itself home to its own infinite nature. If you have made it to this point, if you have absorbed these revelations about the true nature of synchronicity, then you know this moment was not random. Your consciousness has been prepared. Your understanding has been activated. Your awareness has been expanded to receive the deeper mysteries that await you. But this is only the beginning of your journey to synchronicity mastery. What you have discovered today is the foundation. Tomorrow we are going to build something extraordinary upon it. On your screen right now, you see videos that represent the next levels of your awakening. Each one contains keys that will unlock different dimensions of your synchronicitous abilities. Each one reveals different aspects of how consciousness and reality dance together in perfect harmony. Choose the path that calls to your soul most strongly. Trust that call. It is not random. It is your quantum field guiding you to your next perfect unfolding. Are you ready to choose the next video to continue your journey to synchronicity mastery?